Hello everyone, I am Shashi Kumar. I am Chief Business Officer at Arnifi. In today's Insight series from Arnifi, we are going to talk about this country that's rewriting the economic story and redefining its place on the global stage. So, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is undergoing a historic economic transformation fueled by Vision 2030, and we are going to talk about one such companies, that is Appinventiv Technologies. It's one of the fastest growing companies in KSA, which helps its clients in AI led initiatives and services. So we have Ashish Jyothi with us, country head of Appinventiv Technologies, to talk more about the journey, talk about Saudi Arabia, its business landscapes. So welcome, Ashish. Thanks for joining us. Ashish, we have heard a lot about the recent movement in Saudi Arabia. It's been into news, and some few things that is my top of mind. Is like, for example, it offers 100% foreign ownership. The NEOM project, which apparently is a 500 billion a mega project, is probably one of its kind. So maybe why don't we start with how do you see the opportunities in Saudi Arabia right now, and what do you think that next 5 years is going to look like for KSA?
Hi, Shashi. Thank you, first of all, for the introduction and also, of course, for the support throughout. So, getting to your question about Saudi Arabia, this is one of the most transformational economies probably in this last 2 decades, right? I've been privileged to be in Saudi for the last 7 years now, and have seen multiple businesses come grow and thrive in this market based on the larger principle that there has been a huge amount of demand always, but a lesser amount of supply available for each domain, whether it is technology, whether it is manufacturing, whether it is Industry 3.0. But for every space, there was a gap in the supply side, and the Vision 2030 takes the country to a different paradigm altogether. So the vision is to transform, to build capabilities, to have Saudi nationals learn and become capable of running and become sustainable in their own country from a very very different perspective, other than being in the basics realms of, let's say, food or construction. They also want to advance in technology. They want to advance in AI. They want to advance in manufacturing, self-sustenance of manufacturing defense items. I mean, so it's not just about the industry that I am in or Appinventiv is in. It is the radical changes happening across industries, and the way of ease of doing of business has also evolved in this last decade, is also meticulous for everyone to consider, or every organization to consider Saudi as a market. Of course, it is one of the largest markets in the Middle East region. It is the largest country also in terms of landmass and population in GCC, and so the opportunity just presents itself if once you are here, once you explore the market. Um, so in alignment with all of these mega projects, those are happening, like you mentioned, the way NEOM. So NEOM is just one of those projects. You have s- multiple tens of these projects just happening in each province. So Riyadh alone might have more than 10 mega projects, like the Rayak, the new Murabba, etc. So Jeddah has
Mhm.
multiple mega projects happening. So complete towns, complete provinces, complete cities are being planned and being shaped out of the desert. So there is a huge opportunity for every industry. So if I tell you from the tech side, each of these cities are becoming smart cities. They are no longer plain Jane cities where you have a physical infra alone. They want it to be smart. They want it to be connected. They want it to be highly responsive and highly hospitable. So all of these things presents opportunities for everyone. So I think this is a very very good time for the next 5 years for most of the organizations to come and establish and at least provide services to their Saudi clients.
Very interesting, Ashish. I think I, for example, was not aware that something like NEOM. There are multiple projects like NEOM which is happening all across the country. That's very interesting. And Ashish, I'm sure that a lot of companies, especially there's a lot of Western countries interest, right, into this region. And what I understand and what I know is like you have spent more than a decade in Middle East, and amongst that, a majority of time you spend in this KSA. So what was your first impression of Saudi Arabia, both from business perspective and also from from the perspective of a person going there to live? From that sense, how do you see Saudi Arabia?
So I'll answer two of your questions, right? The first one about NEOM. I mean, not a question, but I would love to add a comment. There is this is the ignorance about Saudi Arabia, right? I would welcome everyone to understand the amount of projects those are happening in Saudi Arabia. And for me, for someone like me, when I read it in the news that NEOM is going down, NEOM is not, being scaling or etc. I mean, I always want people to understand and welcome the fact that NEOM is just one project out of the hundreds. Okay, and if it has to face
Yeah,
challenges because NEOM is probably one of the most radical infrastructure projects in the world right now. I mean, it is as radical as a SpaceX Falcon failure. If a Falcon can fail 9 times, I'm okay for NEOM to fail for the next 9 years. I mean, this is my personal thought because it is that radical. You do not have a living environment as such, and writing it off or looking at the country's downturn just because of how the NEOM project or the Line project is doing is literally ignorance. I'm talking about the Western media or however it is being portrayed,
yeah,
because there are tons of these projects. Those are live in conjunction with Western organizations, Western countries. So let's say the Six Flags project for Riyadh, they are building the world's largest theme park in Riyadh. Okay, this is with Six Flags. So Six Flags is a West world country. I mean, an organization,
yeah,
right? So there are so many of these projects. Millions of expats like us come and work here on mega projects, and we are doing great stuff. So there is a huge promise to this country. There is a huge promise to the work that is happening here, and of course, there are some starliners. There are some projects. Those become the hero, the epitome of the whole vision. But they are not just the only ones. Those are just the cherries on the top. Um, that
yeah,
being said, my life in Middle East, of course, when I moved to Saudi or to Riyadh from Dubai, see, there is a stark change. Okay, yeah, you have to accept that.
yeah.
But with that change in, let's say, the quality of life, it also comes, the opportunity that you don't get anywhere else. So it's a fair trade. However, I should also add, the good part is that in the last 7 years, I've seen quality of life increase rapidly. So when I came to Saudi, let's say, I'll just one quick example is women used to not drive in 2018 when I came to Saudi, but when women started driving, great things happened, but the traffic choked because in 1 year they issued more than 1 million licenses. So the
Oh,
change is
that's
very
very good.
radical for them. They are very fast paced at changing. Of course, it's a country that is adjusting to many things. It is that period. So I look at it from a positive eye. My whole family lives here with me, so I'm very very positive about living here, and I do not find it any difficult to live in Riyadh. It is as similar as living anywhere else.
That's great to know, Ashish. I think visiting Riyadh and KSA has always been in my mind also. Probably now I have to prioritize it, and hopefully, in next couple of months I should be
Sure.
there, for a visit.